Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie, Violet Vixen Commissaro, and
I'm Jessie. Welcome back, guys. Another week.
I know, and you weren't here last week, so
I
you have to say real quick where you were.
I was at a Pretty Little Podcast. One of our favorites. I was at Ghost Bath, Cloak, and Yada, and it was super sick. Shout out to Dennis. You killed it. It was amazing. Convinced me to bleed. I think when you interview somebody and you talk to them, it is very humanizing. And then I went and saw Ghost Bath again, and was just like, "Hey, dude, what's up? How are you doing?"
And the Milk Boy Philly is always fun. That's always one of those
Yeah.
spots that, you're going to have a good time there.
And then they started playing, and then I forgot for a minute that I was like, "Oh, this is the band I cry to." I was like, "Oh," just like they were amazing. Just like blew me out of the water every time. Just like shout out to Ghost Bath, you guys killed it. Shout out to Cloak, blew me away. Every band that played was phenomenal, and I'm just really happy. We get to talk to so many amazing bands and so many amazing people, and definitely it was just like sick. It was so sick. Amazing show.
We definitely missed you.
Oh, thank you. All I gotta say, if you have the opportunity to go see Ghost Bath play, it is a spiritual experience. It really is. And you gotta see them if you haven't. They rule. But
And your makeup was so on point. Let me just throw that out there.
what?
Your makeup was so on point.
Oh, for that show?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it was. I did a very vampire, of course I did, because that's my dealio. Tonight I did like orange. I was like, I'm trying to do spooky season. I got the mortician drip for horror samples and the pumpkins, It's all coming together.
So I'm so excited for tonight's guest.
Yeah,
Hailing from the underground scene, this artist is all about that raw, intense sound that makes you want to crank up the volume and headbang until your neck hurts. Their band, Rid of Me, is not afraid to embrace chaos and rebellion, and their music is the perfect soundtrack for it. Please welcome my longtime friend, Itarya Rosenberg.
Hello.
Hi,
How's it going? Hello. How are you?
doing?
Chilling. Chilling
Thank
hard.
you
How are
so much
y'all?
for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's
I
good to
follow
see
all
you.
the fun stuff that you're doing with the band, and
Hell yeah.
we need to know it all.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
So
What do you want to know?
let's start with what initially drew you to music, and how did you kind of get teamed up with Rid of Me?
Okay. I've always loved music. I think you know this, Allie. We've always loved music. I've known Allie since we were in like middle school, just
That's
so everyone knows.
amazing.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Um, I grew up like dancing and doing theater and stuff, but it was kind of not totally my vibe. I'm not very competitive, so auditioning was always weird and just like missing something. And then I just kind of like got into music pretty heavily, but I didn't start like really playing in bands until a little bit later in life. With this current band, Mike McGinnis, who plays guitar, and John DeHart, who plays guitar. We were in a band called Low Dose, like right before this. John played bass in that band, and I played guitar in that band. And we broke up, and McGinnis and I were like, we need to keep playing music together. So we decided to start Rid of Me, and then we asked Mike Howard, who plays drums, to play drums. And we started as a three-piece, and then kind of had like revolving guitar players. And then John finally agreed to start playing music again because he kind of like stepped back from it for a while. So we're just like longtime homies that have all kind of played together over the years. They've been in bands together too, like separate, all three of them. So yeah, so we just started writing me, and here we are.
So I had to represent Siren
Nice.
Records.
Fuck yeah. Siren, hometown fucking record store. Great place.
So I saw on your Instagram, do you make records?
Yeah, so I press records for a place in Northeast Philly. It's called Soft Wax.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Pressing records is crazy, but it's sick. Um, there's a lot that's involved in it. So shockingly more than I anticipated
I
before
get
I
it.
started the gig. I'm sorry.
I get it. I'm addicted to like the LP like limited edition splatter, like pressing
Uh-huh.
pressing
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like on there. I'm like,
You're like ready to go. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Is it hard to
Yeah.
decide what to make for yourself when like picking out designs?
So we just kind of went with colors from the artwork, and then Den of Wax. They are a record store that's like starting their own kind of label as well. They're putting out limited edition versions of like records and just a few bands that they're taking on here and there. So they wanted to do like a splatter, so we're doing a splatter for them. So they got to decide on that coloration. But
That's awesome.
yeah, it wasn't that hard. I was just kind of like, I think I was like, well, we're gonna do black, and then I think John was like, let's do red, and then that was it. Yeah. But
I know a lot of people will be excited to like hear that there's somewhere they can go to because I'm telling you, like, so many bands talk about doing records for their merch stores and like that they want to bring back that vibe to the merch tables and to the festivals and all that. And
yeah,
a lot of them don't know where to go for really like
come
cool,
to Soft
unique.
Wax. Let me press your record. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, no problem.
Uh,
So, back to your band, how would you describe your sound?
well, I would say we're pretty melodic. I'm like heavily influenced by like pop music. I love melody, but we're also very heavy and emotional. Loud. We're very loud. We like to call it also like guitar music because there's a lot of guitar
I
interplay.
found it fun because you know how Spotify always gives you like bands they recommend along with you?
Uh-huh.
Whole,
Well, yeah.
Fiona Apple.
Sick.
I was like, she's gonna love that.
Yeah, those are good. Those are two good comparisons for sure. Hole and Fiona Apple are definitely vibes. Yeah. Um, yeah, we're just rock. I think we rock, There's a lot of venting happening. I'm very grateful to be able to have this band to get out a lot of shit, I guess, out of my brain. So, yeah, I don't know, emotional
So
poppy rock.
I know you've always been a creative person. What do you feel sets you apart from other bands?
What sets us apart? I just think we're really good songwriters, to be honest. I think the songs are catchy and honest, and you can't help but fucking rock along to. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think we're a good band. I think we write good songs. I think we're good live. So I don't know if it sets us apart necessarily, but I do think that we are a good experience. If you like, you know, louder, heavier guitar music.
I feel like that loud music is really making a comeback.
Yeah.
And and you travel all over. Like, where would you say has a really, we'll say, hype music scene?
Hype as in like good or like
Yeah,
overly
like
hyped? Oh man, there's good music all over the place. Chicago is really awesome for music, I feel like. Austin has a lot of good bands. I don't know, there's like good bands everywhere, really. Richmond has a great music scene.
I know they have a big hardcore scene.
Yeah, Richmond has a really good hardcore scene. Portland is good. It's hard. I feel like every city you go to, you can find sick bands and sick music going on. Honestly, Philly is like one of the better.
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel
dude,
like, yeah, Philly
really?
has an amazing music scene. So many good bands, so many cool places to see music, DIY and
Jesse and I
otherwise.
always say that we're like, and when people are like, "Oh, the music scene's dead," and we're like,
Oh,
"You
no,
don't
it's
know, like
No, it's not.
you can get other places."
I think
Yeah, yeah,
you can't keep up with it. It's like every night, house show, venue
yeah,
playing, like,
yeah.
they're nonstop. Like, my week, especially, like,
Oh, you can fill it up with gigs if you want
yeah,
to.
every
Yeah, for
night,
sure.
you will
Yeah,
burn out before you are done. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like cover bands were, for a little bit, they were dominating, but I feel like the original bands are now making their way back. I mean, like a lot. I mean, there's a lot of places that weren't even looking for original bands at one point, and now that's who they're booking.
Right. Cover bands do make a good money. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've been a part of like the more DIY scene, so it's always
Mhm.
kind of been more um not as many like cover bands, like mostly original bands. Uh, but yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, original music is clutch. It's what really inspires us, you know. You can get burn out hearing the same shit over and over again. Not that I don't beat up the same records over and over again, because I certainly do. And there is like a beautiful thing about hearing songs that you really like performed well live. But yeah, you can't continue to be inspired if you don't have like change and refreshing things happening, right? I think, such as new music.
So, what are some genres and artists that inspire you?
Right now I'm really fucking obsessed with Yev's Tumor's new record. He's kind of like, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. He's kind of like weirdo pop rock. I don't even know, like kind of post-punk, kind of electronic. His stuff has been like all over the board, everything from like super like electronics, like dissonant weird stuff to just like straight up pop songs to just like rock and roll. But his new record, it's like some long name that I'm not gonna remember exactly right now, but he's like been a huge inspiration to me lately. Um, some other, I'll think of like new stuff that's come out that I really like, I think. Uh now I'm like on the spot. I'm like, oh shit. Well, that's what I've been listening to the most. My friend Evan has this project called JJL that's like really beautiful. He came out with a record this year. There's a really good uh metal punk band from Philly called Backslider. They came out with like a new EP recently that was fucking sick. Yeah, you know Backslider?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have friends in this band from Oakland called Facet. They had a record that came out this year that was really sick. As far as like music things, types of music that inspire me, I'm like super inspired by melody. I kind of think of it in this way. So anything that has like a really uh, awesome melody, whether it's like death metal or fucking, like Ariana Grande, I appreciate and I can get into. My YouTube playlist looks insane because I'm kind of like all over the board. And we all kind of are. Everyone in my band kind of like takes inspiration from a lot of different places. And, we all have like a variety of tastes. And we're all pretty like on the level in terms of what it is that we like and what we get out of music. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. I just
You
like
change it day by
music.
day, you know?
Yeah, yeah, whatever the vibe is, whatever moves me. But definitely the Yev's humor stuff. That stuff
Yeah.
blows me out of the water. Yeah, hard to recommend.
Uh,
Yesterday was King Woman, today was 21 Savage.
There
So
you go. King
now
Woman's cool. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
whatever the day brings.
That's right, for
I
sure.
call it like my music roulette
Yeah, I get
Yeah, yeah,
because
there you go.
I have such a wide variety of different genres and songs. Like I'll have a couple of the same like type, and then all of a sudden it's like a completely different vibe, and my friends are like,
Yeah.
really, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It made the cut.
That's great. I love that. Variety is the spice of life, right? Isn't that
It
what they
really
say?
is.
Yeah, it's clutch.
When the
So
Spotify
let's
thing.
talk about some of your latest songs.
Yes.
Gutted.
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about it, like inspiration.
Uh, sure. So that song was kind of funny. It kind of like got rearranged a bunch. McGinnis wrote the riffs. We had riffs and drums, and then I came up with a bass part, and then I kind of like when I write vocals, like I'll have a melody that kind of comes to my head, and then I'll like figure out certain words that I want to use, and then I kind of like take whatever inspires me from there. And the song in particular is about, like I'm somebody who suffers from pretty severe depression, and I it's kind of like the things that I think of when I'm in this state of mind and how I like sustain simultaneously. Like what keeps me going. And kind of like what I picture death being like, not so specifically, uh, but kind of what I was thinking about when I was thinking of this song. I'm like very fortunate to have a lot of amazing people in my life and music that really helped me. So it's kind of like all of those things inspired that
And
song.
I feel
And
like music, like you even talking about it on here, like that inspires other people that are going through it that are like, you know what? I'm not the only one that's feeling like that. Somebody
yeah, for
else
sure.
that like I think is cool is going through something like I can make it through. Like it kind of gives people hope. So thank
Yeah.
you for
Oh, hell yeah. No,
speaking out about that.
thanks. Yeah, I hope so. I think, everybody just wants to feel like they connect to something or somebody, right? We all want to feel like we're not alone, totally. Um, and that we're not fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Even when we're being crazy, like so I think it's important for people to be vulnerable in their art and because it does help. And I find it for myself, like a lot of catharsis through songs and through people's experiences and words, we're all just kind of sharing shit and hoping that we can get through the day.
Yeah, it got real during the
So,
pandemic. Like when
Oh,
everybody was in like
yeah, yeah, pandemic was lockdown was tough. Yeah,
yeah, like I was just like, you know what? Just need to wait for us to be able to go out again.
yeah, yeah. Now everywhere's booming, it's booming.
So how did the band handle the pandemic and that
But
whole
it was kind of crazy. So we started it as a three piece. It was just like me, McGinnis, and Howard. And we were actually supposed to go on tour with Soul Glow, friends of ours, one of the best bands of Philadelphia. If you don't know Soul Glow, holy shit. They're not only amazing, they're important, they're everything.
mhm.
They're the fucking best. Everyone go listen to Soul Glow immediately. Uh, anyway, we were supposed to go tour with them, but then the pandemic happened. So we just started writing. So that's when we wrote Traveling, which was our first full length. So we just wrote and recorded a record instead of playing shows. It was cool and weird because yeah, I mean writing music is always cool and weird, but especially compounded with like yeah lockdown and not being able to see many people or do many things. But we made it work. It was cool.
I love that your songs really they all sound totally different and like it I love it.
Thank
Can
you.
you tell us a little bit about Hell of It?
Sure. I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink anymore. I still do drugs, but I don't drink. But drugs were never my problem.
Mhm.
Um, uh, so that's kind of a reflection on uh, my bad drinking days. Pretty verbatim of a night or a weekend or a bender. Just kind of reflecting upon that, how I felt, how I feel about it still, the fucking demon inside me. Yeah, so Hell of It is about my drinking problem.
I love that you use music though to really like get it out.
Thank
I
you.
mean,
Um,
I was telling Jesse earlier, like you introduced me to so many bands that
Hell yeah.
really like impacted my life. I mean, I remember Operation Ivy and like
Uh-huh.
the physical fatness. Like you were so excited about that compilation, and like, I mean, still, I'll put on Screeching Weasels every once in a while, and like some of those bands, and I
Uh-huh.
rock out, and it brings back like great memories.
That's awesome. Yeah, music is I think in music, like music is incredibly important. It's kind of my safe space. So I'm glad when I can like share music, whether it's music I'm making or music that inspires me or I just fucking love with people. I'm always hyped to share it. And I'm very happy when they enjoy it. So that's
So,
great that you have
so
memories
who
like
was
that.
behind the art?
It was my vision, I guess. And then our friend Mark Deal, who's a photographer and just the best dude, and he's always so down. And we've worked with him before on stuff, but yeah, we just kind of walked around the city and took these photos and picked the ones that we liked the best. But yeah, it was kind of my idea. I wanted to do something that was like kind of intimate in a public setting, and I didn't want I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I didn't want my face to be I wanted it to be covered, but I wasn't sure how, and then I found this mask in Party City, and I was like, "This mask is fucking insane." So I bought the
It
mask, I
felt
bought a
like
couple of them.
sexy kind
yeah,
of purge.
Yeah. Yeah, Sexy Purge. That's great. Yeah, I do like too, like, it was maybe not totally on purpose, but it does have this, like, horror film vibe that we all really love too. Yeah, so that was kind of like a happy accident, I think. But it was also not too far from the vision itself, I guess. But yeah, so Sexy Purge. I dig that. I'm gonna use that.
So, what is kind of your creative process? Like, what kind of goes into the band coming together to make a song?
So normally we do a lot of demoing. Hard recommend to any musicians out there, any bands out there, demo the fuck out of your songs. It makes everything so much easier. We essentially like recorded the record before we recorded the record, and it was incredibly helpful. So normally like someone will come up with a riff. We'll say like McGinnis comes up with a riff, and then he'll get together with Howard, and we'll program drums, and then we'll work on bass. Sometimes there's already like bass ideas. Um, and then vocals come last. And again, yeah, normally I'm always like kind of thinking of melodies in my head, but then I'll finally like sit down and think out the melody and work out the words. And normally by the time I'm writing the lyrics, I kind of already know where it's gonna go. And then sometimes the lyrics come very easily, and sometimes they come not so easily. Um, but I always want to make sure that the vocals and stuff add to the song and don't like take away from it. I want it to kind of interweave and work. Uh, I think of it in terms of like another instrument, even though it doesn't sound like that at all, because it is very vocal. Like
Now, how
it's not
important is
ethereal.
like the storytelling aspect of it, or like the theme behind it?
Oh, I mean, I would think really important, right? I guess I don't think of it that way. I think of it more as just like the whole process, all of it, the band itself, I think for not only me, not that I want to speak for my bandmates, but I think, art and so much of it is a release, right? It's kind of like this cathartic thing that speaking of purging, like actually purging, right? So
It's a punk purge.
a
yeah,
punk purge. Yeah. So I think, part of our band and our ethos is to just be like honest on all levels. at all times and like play and write stuff that we genuinely enjoy, and that make us feel good, and challenge us, of course. But like, yeah, so I think it's more just this thing that happens, you know? Like, it's more just like we got to get these melodies, these songs out of our head and out of our bodies and just kind of create it. So I think, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's just like, as in terms of like storytelling, I guess so, because there is everything that I sing about is like my own experience. And I feel the need to like vent these things or to communicate these things, um, or just like feel these things. So uh, I guess it's all pretty important. I think it's all part of it, right? I think. Yeah. I would say very important to answer your question a roundabout way. Um, but it's also just like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
we
it's what it is.
definitely like. I'll ask a question, and most of the time it goes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
But so here's a good one with you doing the printing the records and being around that side of it also. In the age of technology, how has digital recording and production impacted your music making process?
It's helpful as shit. I mean, like, it's so, like I said earlier, like we demo everything
Mhm.
and being able to do that, like McGinnis, has like a setup in his basement, like a pretty good setup, recording setup. And we just go down there and we can like, it's so easy to create. We've even like recorded like some of the covers that we've done,
Yeah.
like aside from drums, were like just in his basement. So I think that having that capability and being able to make stuff sound good easily is amazing. I think it's a beautiful thing for all bands to be able to have access to. And musicians and just like kids alone in their room, you know, like even just garage band, like just stuff to get you like moving and inspired and help you kind of work out those details is like incredibly helpful. In terms of just like digital music in general, like streaming services and stuff, I mean, I don't know, you know, like it's all capitalism. So it's all,
It's come a long
you
way
know,
from going to the music store. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's cool to be able to have like access to so much music all the time is really huge and cool, I think. I do think that unfortunately, like big organizations in capitalism take advantage of artists. And I think that it's incredibly difficult for people to be able to make money off of their art nowadays, while a couple people get really rich off of it. So that is frustrating to me. There's not as much control, I think, in terms of like artists being able to live their lives as artists. You know, it's like you have to either be really famous or, you know, but that's more of
and
a
there's so much going
societal
on with
structural thing.
AI. Like AI is like
Yeah.
crazy. I heard that they did come to an agreement with SAG, but
Hmm.
like, I mean, I know there was something with somebody had used AI with a Drake song.
Hmm.
Like,
I think I
I
did
mean,
about that.
I'm sure that's gonna affect music coming
Oh
up.
yeah. I mean, even just companies, there's actual like AI music like on Spotify
I
playlists, you
yeah,
know?
they have
Yeah.
AI rappers and stuff, and everyone's
Mhm.
like the ethics of that.
Yeah, and like they'll have these companies, you know, like promote them so that they can make a ton of money off of
Mhm.
essentially nothing, you know? I guess it's like the same what SAG is fighting against. It's like being able to produce like cheap music. But that's, I mean, I would hope that people see through that stuff. Because the whole point of music and why it's the fucking greatest is like we were talking about having like shared experiences and being able to like actually like feel somebody's
Human
emotions. Yeah, you know? Yeah, exactly. So hopefully that doesn't actually become a thing, but it is kind of already a thing. So I guess
it's a very dystopian thought.
it is very dystopian. Yes, indeed.
Well, I asked you earlier what sets you apart. I have a feeling
We're
that
not AI.
I have a
Yeah.
feeling that your fans would say it's your live shows.
Okay. Our live shows are pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. They're
So,
pretty good live.
how do you prepare for your live shows? Like, what kind of energy do you aim to bring on stage with you?
Ooh, kind of energy. I love playing music so much. It brings me such joy. Uh, and I just want to share that joy with people on stage. And I would say that everyone in my band feels the same way. So I just want to get up there and like have a good time and fucking rock. Um, that's all I think about. I definitely go to like another place, like takes me away. It's a very transcendent experience, but at the same time, like I want to feel engaged.
How do
uh,
you connect with your audience? Like, is there anything like, because I can imagine you jumping off stage and really like being part of the crowd.
so I don't do that as much with this band. My last band was way more physical in that
No crowd
way.
surfing?
No, no crowd surfing. Not yet. Not yet. Because I play bass in this band, it's harder to just throw my instrument off and do whatever I want.
That's true.
Um, yeah, and I think with this band, like at the same time, even though we want to bring that raw energy of yeah, like rock and fun and punk and stuff, like we're also very like buttoned up and we like part of the live experience, I think with us, I hope with us, is that we're incredibly tight, not in like the sense that we sound just like our record, because who wants that? Uh, but it's a very cohesive experience and with full of energy and emotion. So I think that that's something that we work hard to to bring to the live
Gonna be
experience, I
disappointed
guess.
when you go and see you guys live.
I'm sorry?
You're not gonna be disappointed when you go and see you guys.
No, I don't think so. I will say I'm not like the type of person to uh blow myself up in this way, or be hyperbolic. But our band is very good live. You
I
should
love
see us
that.
live. We're good. That I do know.
Even their pictures are like very artsy. Like you could be like in any venue and like just their pictures, like you just get a glimpse and you don't even have to see the video. Like that's just
Yeah,
a picture.
that's sick.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Can you recall any like standout moments or memorable moments from any of your live shows or while you were on like out touring?
So we over the summer we did a full US tour with this band Cherubs. They're like to us iconic, like they're legendary.
Yeah.
In the noise rock scene, quote unquote, whatever that is. And like that kind of corner of punk rock, they're just like one of the most important bands. And they stopped playing music for a while, and then they started putting out music again on our dearly departed, a very good friend of ours, Mike Lara, passed away last year, and he ran Brutal Panda Records.
So sorry to
And
hear that.
yeah, thank you. It was a fucking bummer, an ultimate bummer. He's one of the best dudes, but shit happens. But anyway, so he kind of got them started again or participated in that. And then they started putting music out again. And then my old band played with them. And then we did this tour together because we just feel such a closeness with them, such a kindred spirit with them as people and as musicians. They're just the fucking greatest. But anyway, they occasionally I would go sing on stage with them on this tour, this
Mhm.
song Shoe Fly. Uh, and that was always just so fucking fun. Those some experiences that I will never forget because here's this band that we like straight up in every single band that I've ever been in, I've ripped off this band.
Yeah.
And now we're like friends and really good friends, like family, I would say. And just being able to like perform these songs, this song in particular, but any song with them that I like worshipped for so long, and looked up to and like ripped off is like really fucking cool. So that's like a highlight, I
Surreal.
would say. Yeah. I don't know. I love playing. So as long as the crowd's having a good time, like I'm having a great time, you know.
Any standout venues that you played at?
Oh my God. There's this place in Birmingham called Club Saturn, and it's the fucking coolest venue of all time. It's so cool, and they treat their bands. There's like an apartment on top of the building or on top of the venue, um, and it's like band heaven. It's so sick. Uh, every band should try and play there. It's really great. They're like it was a beautiful place to stay. They had like records and a pool table and like huge kitchen, all these little bunks, all types of video games. Like it was just like really nice. Club Saturn is very cool. Uh, what are some other places? I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of cool venues out there. I'm trying to think more if there's ones that I didn't like. I don't try to nitpick. What are some
It's
of my
usually the
other
ones with
favorites?
bad sound.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
the
we
ones with
usually
bounce
hear. We're like,
sound.
oh, the sound in that place.
Yeah, definitely that. Um, yeah, I don't know. They kind of all sort of run into each other too, you know, when you're playing like a lot of similar venues. It's more like the nights or the people that you meet, I think, that are more memorable than necessarily the places themselves. Aside from Saturn was very exceptional. Not to talk shit on venues, because I love venues and I love, you know, like any place that's like willing to host us.
Any standout fans that you've met along the way that
Oh yeah, I meet cool people all the time. I mean, we have really cool fans. Everybody is just like I think you have to be like kind of a nice person in order to like I know that sounds weird, but uh yeah, there's been like I don't know. I meet cool people all the time. I'm very fortunate in this way. Like it's really special. Like people, it's a really special relationship. People that are like into your music and that you get to meet all over the place. There was like a really fun show we played in Eugene, Oregon, with like this really young band called Only. They were fucking sick, but the kids at that show were so fucking hype. It wasn't like a ton of people, but they
Yeah.
were like so excited. That was like a really fun night. It was really cool to see like all these young kids like embrace this like legend band, you know, like
Come out.
that are so much older than, you know, like it was cool. Like it's cool to see like music just transcend age in that way. I really appreciate it. So, but that happened kind of everywhere. It's hard to say. I don't know.
I like the venues that have like really cool like floors or like really cool like lighting. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what I
there's some
go
places
for.
that,
Like when
uh-huh.
I'm going to see a band, I'm like, oh, that's impressive. Like I know
Hmm.
there's a place in
Yeah, what?
Richmond, Virginia that it was called Have a Nice Day Cafe or something, and it was like a two-decker like venue, and they had like one of those floors that lit up, kind of like that place that you were telling me about, Jesse.
Photo club.
A
Yeah,
photo club. Yeah, photo
Oh,
club
that's
has the
a
light
fun
up
floor.
floor.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very good for my brain when I'm up there. Yeah. I'm like
Yeah, photo club's cool.
I
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for me, it's just, I mean, yeah, if the sound is good and the space is appropriate for people to like move around and have a good time, like I'm cool. I don't really, yeah, I don't know. I wish I had like more favorites, but I really don't.
Now, what
I'm
got
really
you
just
into
down.
kind of like playing the bass?
I'm sorry.
Like, what got you into playing the bass?
So I actually didn't play. Okay, so I was playing guitar.
Yeah, I was about to say, when we were
Yeah,
younger, you played the guitar.
yeah. So I started playing bass kind of essentially because when we broke up, when McGinnis and I, when Low Dose broke up, our previous band, and we were going to start it as a three piece. McGinnis is like a better guitar player than me, so I was like, I'm just going to play bass. kind of is what happened. So I just kind of played bass in this band, just because we needed a bass player.
You're
But
like,
I
I
did,
fill the role.
yeah, I was like, I think I could do this. Well, I did years ago. The first time I played bass was I filled in for a month-long tour for this band Creepoid. I don't know if either of you are familiar with them. They're no longer a band. Um, Very cool, like kind of shoegazy rock stuff. So that was the first time I played bass. They needed a fill in and they asked me and I said yes. So I learned how to play bass then. Um, but then it had been a couple years. I guess I was like kind of playing it. Howard and I were like jamming, I think a little bit. I was playing bass. Um, yeah, but I essentially just started because we needed a bass player for it of me. And I love it. I fucking love it. I do. I love playing bass.
I
So
kind of think it's badass.
I
it's
love
sick.
bass, man.
Yeah.
A bass line can make the song.
Oh yeah, you gotta hold it
You
down, you know?
know?
Yeah. I hard agree. I love
Yeah.
me a riffy bass line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I don't
Hmm.
remember before, like, I don't think there was like as many. Like, I'm seeing a lot of bass solos coming through lately.
Oh yeah. The
Like,
I
good
I
old bass
know
solo.
that Strange Culture, they just had a whole like bass thing with Mason. Like, I, I've been hearing it a lot more, especially with the local.
I just
Hell
think
yeah.
that bass, like I said, it is can elevate your like think of like every good like iconic band has a sick ass bass player, like Black Sabbath, sick ass bass player, Rush, sick ass bass player, like
Yeah, your rhythm section has to be
solid.
yeah, like you can get away with like a little bit more sloppy guitar stuff, I
Mhm.
think, but your bass or your rhythm section has to be on point, I think, for the band to be. Especially drummers though. Drummers have it the hardest. You need a good fucking drummer, otherwise
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they have it the hardest, but I would say the most important member of the band is the drummer, I think. You need a fucking good drummer. Everything else can kind of bass player you have to have solid at least, like they have to be able to keep in time with the drums, but yeah, you need a good drummer. We need more drummers.
We need
Everyone out there, play drums.
like one drummer is in like 10 bands.
Yeah, yeah. We
That's
need
true.
more.
Rain,
They
It,
are,
rain gets us all the time.
yeah.
yeah, it's because there's not as many
There's
good
not
drummers.
enough.
Everyone plays guitar, nobody plays drums. Everybody needs to play drums. Go
Every
learn how to play drums,
like
everyone.
a list of 10 bands on their Instagram bio that they're in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
List. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's true.
it's
Can
true.
you think of any dream collabs that you would like to be part of?
Oh shit. Yev Stummer, hit me up, bud. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm down to work with anybody. Like,
Throw them out there. You never know. Like, our producer could make a clip and end up sending it around.
I don't even know. I'm more into like working with people that I know in a personal way, I think.
Hmm.
Um, though like if I'm open to anything. I'm like a pretty down dude, like I'm pretty open to most things. But like, I don't know, I guess like anything with musicians that I've worked with that I really love, Cherubs dudes, Scott Evans from Kowloon Walled City. He mixed our record. He does guest vocals on one of the songs of the record. Um, so I guess I guess we haven't done a whole lot of collaborative stuff. I don't know if there's anybody that I'm like vying, but I would love to work with other artists, I would love to there's like bands I would love to play shows with and stuff. Um, yeah, but that's like a long list. That's like
If you got a phone call tomorrow, who would be your number one?
to play a show with?
Yep.
Ah, fuck. Maybe Unwound. I'd love to play a show with Unwound. They're like one of the bands that uh is like one of the most influential bands for us. Um, yeah, Unwound would be pretty fucking sick. They're pretty top notch. But there's a lot of bands that I would love to play shows with, honestly, that are, you know.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, how do you balance everyday life with your music career, especially with touring and everything?
I do like 3 things. That's how. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. I'm a pretty simple guy. You know, I like to my me time is very important. So I've kind of been able to, as much as one can, um, set myself up, you know, like I'm not like married, I don't have kids, you know, not to no shade to people that are married with kids, like that's fucking sick, you know, like everybody should be happy doing what they do.
Yeah.
But but for me, you know, that's I need my time to be able to like yeah, play music and do what really makes me feel good. Again, music is my safe space. Like that is what brings me the most joy. So I just work and rock and hang with friends. You know, I keep my life pretty simple. You know, I'm busy, like I have shit going on often, but generally it's like involving music or work. So,
I feel like you
which
were
involves
always like
music.
that, though. You always were around music. Like, you were
Yeah,
always, like, excited about music that had dropped or, like, music that we were going to see. I mean, like, I saw
it's
some
true.
of, like, the craziest underground people through you. I mean, like, you kinda introduced me to that
Yeah,
whole
like
scene.
that's sick. That's so great. I love that. Yeah, no, music has always been super important to me. It's kind of everything. Yeah. So,
I was
I
trying to
guess you're
think
right.
back to some of the theater work that you referenced earlier.
I did remember West Side Story in high school.
Yes. There were a lot of, like, weird ones, and, like, at that time, I, like, didn't yeah, I wasn't, like, into that.
I wasn't even really either, but it was fun. Actually, we had a good time, but we were like kind of bad kids at that point.
You were in a lot we weren't that bad.
We weren't that bad.
We just did not wanna listen to any like, we didn't want people telling us what to do.
Yeah, I still don't want people telling me what to
I
I
feel
mean, like, Lenape, we kinda Lenape was kind of like a takeover. I mean, at some of the schools, yeah.
do. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. We were like semi bad. We were kind of
It's
bad.
crazy because I run into some people now that were like I know it's been years, but, like, I haven't grown up at all.
Yeah, I mean, me neither.
So I'll see them, and they're, like, very, like, poly purebred, and I'm like, "Really? Wow!" Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
why I
know
was
it's
so
kind of
excited
amazing.
when I saw that you were sticking with
And I'm still
the
a
punk
scumbag.
and, like, that grunt and just that alternative sound. I was like, "Yes."
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. Tried and true, baby. Tried and true.
So we're getting close to our time. So to wrap things up, where can listeners find your music and kind of stay updated on Rhythmy's latest news, releases, performances,
So we're on all streaming services.
and they're running
Um,
along the bottom?
yes. Oh, hell yeah. Beautiful. Um, we have a Bandcamp. You can sign up for the mailing list.
Mhm.
Mike McGinnis, Knife Hits Records, he's kind of in charge of everything and he's incredibly savvy in this way. I'm kind of like I just kind of like write and show up and play. But he's really good at keeping on top of shows coming up, and you know we're dropping like another new single this week for the new record. Yeah, any of our social media, you can find it. But Bandcamp is cool. I like Bandcamp. It's probably my favorite platform for music. So check out our Bandcamp.
That's awesome. And now you're on um like your main social media as far to get a hold of you? Like if somebody wanted to book you guys for a show?
Yeah, I would say you could hit us up through Bandcamp or any
Okay.
of our social media, really. Mike McGinnis takes care of all of that. And he's like pretty good about getting back to people, and he's very good. He's very good at being dad. So talk to Mike through any of our social media, Bandcamp, Knife Hits Records. Yeah.
Sick.
Now, not trying to get you in trouble because I did
You can
read
get
on
me in trouble.
Instagram that it's not released yet. But is there any way that we could kind of get an exclusive on when something might be released or a time?
Oh, yeah. So our record's coming out November 3rd. That way we already have like a bunch of singles out. We have one, Rid of Me,
Mhm.
I'm So Lonesome I Could Die, Hell of It, Gutted, and then Cut will be coming out this week. But I'll send you guys a private link if you
Oh,
want.
hell yeah.
Sorry, everyone. Yeah.
So they can go on. So November 3rd,
November 3rd, it's coming out. Yeah, it'll be out
it'll be
everywhere.
out on like Spotify and all the
Yeah.
different links. Okay.
All the different, literally everywhere. November 3rd, the record will be fully out. Yeah. But we're dropping singles in the meantime. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what picture goes with it too. We've got like the picture of you in the street. Got the picture of you in the subway. Our producer was like, I know that exact spot.
Yeah, we've had a couple of people be like, that's my subway spot. And I'm like, yeah, it's stop. I'm like, hell yeah, that's great. Philly.
We love it. And yeah, anytime that you're playing locally, definitely let us know because
Yeah, we do. We have record release shows that are going to be announced very soon, in December.
Sick.
So we'll have all that info. It's really exciting because we have some really good friends of ours from bands that we love that are coming in special for these gigs that we're just like so humbled by. So yeah, stay tuned, I guess. But that info will be out soon. I'm not sure when.
so exciting. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Thank you for having me, Ali. It's really nice to catch up. For
Definitely.
Sure. Not that
And
we
we'll
really
have you
caught
back
up.
on again.
Yeah.
Once you release, and we'll talk about everything else that's going on. Because you stay busy.
Great. I'm pretty busy. Yeah. I'm fairly busy.
A little bit.
A little bit. I'm sure you're busy too. I feel like everyone's busy. Jesse, I'm sure you're busy too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I have a 10-year-old son.
Yeah, you have a 10-year-old. That's like busy as
crazy.
shit. Yeah, that's crazy. That's like the most busy you can be.
And
I
he's
think.
so cool too.
I'm sure he's cool.
Who would have
No
thought?
doubt. Well, I figured if you were gonna have a kid, he'd be cool, or they would be cool.
He loves music. I couldn't have been blessed more with. I mean,
well,
he's
our
a trooper.
Philly show is going to be all ages. So if you're free, you should bring your kid.
That's exciting. I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Max will be with me.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, because he is so over the moon excited, the same way we all get excited when something big happens.
Yeah.
The creator of his favorite game of all time not only gave him a VIP pass and like all these things in the game, but he got to create something in the game, and the guy actually tagged his tagger name on top of it.
Shit.
All day he's been sitting there smiling. He's like,
I
was like, I feel you, bud.
Awesome. I love that. That's really cute. Hell yeah,
He's so
buddy.
excited with himself.
Good. I'm so excited for him.
Yeah, I had to throw it out there because.
Good. Throw it out. I want to know.
But
Talking
we will
about
definitely be there. Send me
Yes.
all the information, and
I will.
we'll be there.
That would be great.
We'll
Thank
make
you
it.
so much.
Yes. Yo, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Pleasure. You too. Thank you.
Sick.
That's so great catching up with her.
I know. That's sick. I
Oh
love
my God, it's so crazy. I've known them so long, like introduced me to so many cool bands and just they're a force. They
Yeah.
are just a force. But how exciting is that about Jackson? Like he was like literally going out his body. He's like, you need to tell Jesse. I almost forgot too. I was
Thank
like,
you for telling me. I know.
throw it out there.
Yes. That's amazing. That would make my life as a kid.
I know. And he's like, a YouTuber, Mom. He's a YouTuber. I was like, you realize that, like, we're YouTubers?
We're YouTubers too.
And he's like, yeah, but you're not a gaming YouTuber. I'm like, can't win them.
Yeah, you can't win them all. We can't win
It's
them all.
okay. When we get that play button,
I know. Right on the wall.
he'll be like standing there like,
Mm-hmm. He'll be like at school, like my mom.
he asks me like every other day. He's like, where are we at? I was like, not there yet.
Getting close.
But, well, I love you so much.
I love you too. I'm so happy to be back.
I know. I am too. Like, I was really missing you. Like, thank goodness the party nerds were like so hype and they're like so easy to talk to and everything, because I would have just been lost without you.
Aw, I appreciate it.
Like I am for the other ones. I'm like, I get like overly excited to ask too many questions at once. You keep me balanced. But
Terry.
well, I just want to say, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Another episode down.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.